Hi, I'm Paul from CryptoBalance, and today I wanted to talk about Mithril, which is a token that is currently in the top 100 on CoinMarketCap, and it is a token that powers a app called Lit, which is a social media app, which is very much like Instagram Stories or Snapchat. And the basic premise is that it rewards people who create good content in crypto. So here we have Mithril 4 days ago was added to CoinMarketCap. And before I get into kind of the review of this, I sometimes come to look at new coins, and one of the things that I use to try and differentiate between projects I might want to look into more and projects that I might not want to look into more is the volume. And the volume on Mithril, when I first looked into it a couple of days ago, was extremely high, around 20 million. Over the last 24 hours, which is very, very high for a new coin. I mean, if you're just quickly looking down here, 3 million is a lot, 7 million is a lot, 20 million is a lot, but 113 million is insane. So that I just find very strange. I mean, it's only on one exchange right now. But the volume is just absolutely massive, and I'm just a little curious / concerned about that. So that's the first thing I want to mention. Originally it caught my eye because it was high, and now it's a red flag because it's so high. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So since this is an ERC20 token, we can look on Etherscan to try and get a bit more of an idea about that volume. And one thing that I've noticed, that there is only 710 addresses, and there's only been 1,500 or nearly 1,600 transactions. So that's not a lot of transactions. That's not a lot of addresses. The token is very new. None of this really fits with such extremely high volume. I don't know why the volume's so high. I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with that. For me, it just feels a little off. So these are just a couple of things I'm a little wary of before I get into this review. Having said that, the main reason I wanted to talk about this project at the moment is because it is perfectly timed with what's been happening with Facebook. Facebook, of course, has had an awful lot of very, very negative press, deservedly so. And I think there's a lot of people who are ready to see it fail, and I think there's starting to become a big appetite and demand to see something new come along. So this being released around now, the timing couldn't be better, and I have had a quick look at the app, which I'll get into, and it does look pretty cool. So I definitely think this is worth paying some attention to, and it's definitely worth sticking around and watching the rest of this review. So let's get on with it. Okay, so the main thing to say about this project is that they actually have a working product that is being used by human beings. And that is cool. That there's not, there's a lot of tokens out there. There's a lot of ICOs that talk about an upcoming app, and it all sounds very exciting. This one does have one that you can actually download and use. So you can come to the website, and this is the name of the app. It's called Lit, and it's available on both Android and iPhones, and I've got the iPhone version. Okay, so I did just do a recording of the app, but it didn't work, so I'm going to do it again. So this is the Lit app. So these are the stories of the people I'm following. I think I'm only following 1 or 2 people. You've got a discover section, and this is all going to feel very familiar to you if you've used Instagram stories. Basically, very similar to Instagram and their stories section. So we go through this featured section. Let's see if we can discover someone new. There is a girl giving that dog just a lovely cuddle, and here's someone who's eating something yum. So let's comment on one of those. There's that Wookiee mask thing. Hang on. So this all seems incredibly familiar. You've got the thing across the top, very, very much like Instagram. You can let's send a message to this person. That dog is very lovely. I'd love to stroke it for a long time. I'm just entertaining myself here. Okay, let's send that. You should follow me on here, because obviously I'm completely inappropriate in a subtle and British way. Right. So you got a message section. See, I've pestered a few people. I've got 3 posts myself. I did these on the last review, but I don't know, the thing didn't record. I know, it's proper annoying. So here's like my profile page. You can see I've got 3 friends. I've got more friends than that in real life. In real life I've got 4 friends. Oh no, sorry, I've actually got 6 followers, and I follow 3 people, so I'm twice as popular as I am popularing other people. I've done 3 posts. I'll do a post now. Let's see, what should I do a post about? I'll do like oh, it's crashed. It just crashed, and the screen stopped recording again, and I doubt it saved. So try again. It just crashed. I don't know, but I don't know if it crashed because I'm recording the screen, and it's this. I don't know, to be fair. So I'm going to try, and I've got 11 followers now. I had 6 a minute ago. I'm just like going to the moon. People are just loving my my stuff on here. I'm like an influencer already. Okay, so let's try and do another post. So press and hold. There we go. Hey, I'm doing a recording of me just testing this out, really. See, there we go. I'm going to post that. It's taken a while. Oh, I did a little grr, but it cut off before that, so my 11 followers will be devastated. Okay, so it's a little bit iffy when it comes to posting. I've had about a 50% success rate trying to post these things. So just the other thing to mention, I'm not going to start another screen recording, but you see at the top there, you can see my Mithril token count, and despite the fact that I have had basically a viral success on my hands with this here, 7 likes, I am still getting wrecked with my account balance here. So I'm not too sure how that works in terms of when you would get any tokens and what sort of how popular you'd have to be before you got anything. But that is a basic little overview of the app. In general, it does look, it looks good. It looks really good, but it doesn't really do anything for me different to Instagram stories. And of course, Instagram has a lot more users, with lots of interests similar to mine. Obviously, there's going to be some people here that are into crypto, but in terms of like other subjects, other interests, there's probably not going to be many people on there. So they're really relying on the fact that it pays out crypto. That's the only reason you might come over from Instagram to this app, is because you want to get paid in crypto to do so. So let's talk about competition. The first thing that came to mind is of course Steemit, which is a very popular kind of, I see this more of as a Reddit alternative. So this is different to Lit, the Lit app that we just reviewed, but it is of course monetizing content, so it shares a similar goal, a similar idea in that sense. The main difference is the type of network they are. Like I say, I sort of see this as more a place to share popular content and curate that content, like Reddit does, where people submit videos and blog posts, and they write their own sort of blog posts within that framework, and people upvote them for visibility, and you've got all those kinds of mechanics to kind of have the best content surface at the top. So it's kind of for content discovery, whereas things like stories, it's much more personal. You're not necessarily writing blog posts, you're just sharing moments of your life. And I wouldn't come to Steemit and post a picture of me cuddling a lovely cuddly doggy, but I might do that on Lit. In fact, if I had a dog, I would cuddle it right now. but I don't. So there is a difference between these two platforms, but there's definitely a comparison to be drawn there, and since we are drawing that comparison, I would have to say that of course Steemit is so far down the road from Mithril and Lit. It has almost 40 million estimated views in the last month, and it is clearly being used by an enormous amount of people. And it's starting to be used. Obviously there's a big crypto community there, but people are using this to talk about the other topics they're interested in as well. So Mithril and Lit are a long way behind this competitor, at least. Okay, so let's talk about the team. I have had a little look at the team, and the main thing that I have seen in regards to team is the founder, Jeffrey Hang, and I've seen him do a paid video interview with Crypto Lark, and he came across okay, but I wasn't really super convinced by him. He talked a bit about his background. He's got some interesting experience. He seemed like a good guy, but he didn't answer all the questions brilliantly as far as I was concerned. The other thing about the team is that it is a very small team of people. There's no kind of big names that I've heard of or anything like that, people with super brilliant experience in this space. That doesn't mean, clearly they are producing some stuff together because they've got a workable app out, so let's give them some credit. It's not that there's anything that I've seen that I don't like about them. I just haven't seen a great deal. I don't know a great deal about them, so it's more of a question mark to me, so I'd have to kind of look at this part as a negative. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the some token metrics. So the basics are we have 1 billion total supply, circulating supply, 300 million. And the way this is divvied up, just let me find this information in their white paper. Hang on a minute. So here we go, token distribution. So what we have here is 30%. So token exchange 30%. Token exchange takes place, and right, so that's the ICO was 30%, development team 5%, community development 20%, early backers and advisors 5%, future reserves 5%, social mining 35%. So this is really the key part here. This 35% is what's going to kind of power the system and draw people over to use their platform. At least that's the plan. So the distribution at the moment is kind of poor, only 715 holders of this token, which again doesn't really match up with this enormous amount of volume. It does not feel like there's thousands of people coming to buy this token because they think it's really cool, because there's only 715 wallets. Now I don't think those wallets include anything in the app, because I can't find in this app, I can't find anything that says my address, for example. So it says I can be rewarded tokens, but I can't see an address that I would send tokens to this app, the Lit app, and vice versa. I don't know how I'd send tokens back out of this app. So I don't know if right now this if you thought that everyone that downloaded this app would count as as a token holder, to have an address here, you'd think there'd be more than 750 people that have downloaded the app, and I would definitely expect that to be the case. So I don't think that address counts as one of these addresses. So that might be a little bit misleading in terms of the overall interest. But that does seem very low. There's lots and lots of big whales, if you like. I think that's the 35% that will eventually be distributed, because this is of the whole 1 billion, this isn't the circulating supply. But it's not particularly well distributed after the ICO. It's not continued to sort of spread out amongst large amounts of token holders, which is something I would like to see, and something that I think would more justify the high price and the high volume and the high market cap at the moment. If there was a lot more organic interest and thousands of people wanting to get involved with this, download the app, buy some tokens, it doesn't look like that's what's happening to me right now, at least. So the current price is 42 cents. That's basically an all-time high in its short lifetime. You can see it has only gone in one direction really since it's been added to CoinMarketCap, and the volume has just steadily increased and increased and increased to what I would describe as just really insane levels. I mean, let's just get an idea of this. So this saying the volume now is 112 million. So let's go to CoinMarketCap and take a look. So obviously Bitcoin and Tether, Ethereum that you'd all expect. And there's Mithril there. So very high up in terms of volume. Just way higher than you'd really expect it to be at this stage. And with the low amount of addresses, it just really doesn't feel like that volume is organic. Just concerns me. Anyway, I was talking about the price. Price 40 cents since I've refreshed it. It's taking a little dip. So let's talk about the price potential. It's very difficult with this kind of thing because obviously if this was the next Facebook, sky's the limit in terms of price. It is of course very difficult to imagine that happening, even if this was the best, the greatest social network in terms of functionality and design and everything, and it just had everything going for it, and it had new innovation and anything you could hope for from a new social media app. Any new attempt to recreate what Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat achieved, it's always an outside chance as far as I'm concerned, because even with all the money in the world to have that network effect where just everybody starts to suddenly adapt a platform and nobody knows where it's come from, all of a sudden just boom, it's here and it's got just this colossal momentum. That is just such a difficult thing. I mean, I say like I'm looking from the outside in, but it's one of the most difficult things to force. So I just think that's going to be extremely difficult for anyone to predict. So even if you absolutely love it and it's brilliant, and I do think it's good, it's always going to be for me an outside chance that it will achieve, that it will become the next Twitter or something like that. That's extremely rare. We don't see all the social networks that fail. I mean, look at Google Plus. I mean, that was Google. They tried to force it, mash it in with YouTube and stuff it down our throats, and that's not popular. That's not taken off. So extremely difficult to force. So if you were going to compare it to something like Steemit and say, well, what if it became as popular, at least in the crypto space, as Steemit? You could look at that. So Steem has a market cap of 450 million, Steemit, and Mithril has a market cap of 125 million. So if you were to say Mithril would become as popular as Steem, at least in terms of the popularity of holding the token and the demand for the token and therefore the market cap, then you might look for prices roughly, say for math's sake, for four times higher than the current price. So you're talking maybe around $1.60, something like that, if it was to reach Steem levels. So Steem is a rank 32 coin, Mithril is a rank 86 coin. My huge problem with this is that that's already quite close. Steemit is so much more established in this space. It's more established in terms of people just using it because they want to use it in the same way they do Reddit. Mithril has a long way to go before it's even as popular as Steemit, and the price difference doesn't really represent that gap. The market cap difference doesn't really represent that gap. It's closer in price than it is really in how competitive and how popular it is with Steemit. Okay, so let's kind of round this up with a bit of SWOT analysis then. Strengths, really, for me, is that they have a working product. They have a product that it seems people are using and are adopting, that is growing its user base day by day. I've you know, I did an example in this video of me using the app, and since then I've got another 10 followers. There's people who have interacted with me. It does seem that people are using this app. That's not easy to do. The fact that it has a working product does put it ahead of a lot of other projects right at the bat. So strengths, it's got some stuff going for it. It's got a working product that is good. You know, it's a nice app. Weaknesses, there's nothing new with this app. It's Instagram stories where you get paid crypto. There's no innovation, there's no new idea behind it. And I think it's going to take more than just paying people in a crypto they've not heard of to create the network effect that's going to become the next big thing. So the opportunity for this project right now is to try and harness the negativity about Facebook. And I think this could just be getting started. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Facebook. I'm still on it. I've not deleted my Facebook account. I probably won't at this stage, but there is an awful lot of resentment towards Facebook. I could see it. I could, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it did a bit of a MySpace. I wouldn't be. I'm hopeful that it will, because I don't like it, and I am awaiting a kind of next generation of social platforms that does give its users control and power over its own data. I'm not really sure if this is it though. Like I say, to me this just seems like exactly Instagram stories with being paid crypto. So as well as getting likes, you also get some crypto. I don't know if this is really what I've been waiting for and what other people have been waiting for, but in general I think there is a huge opportunity in this space this year and next year, and if people continue to sort of realize what companies like Facebook are doing, they don't like it, they don't want this kind of invasion, this kind of manipulation, then there is a massive opportunity for the right thing to come along at the right time and become something absolutely massive. The chances of this being that, I think, are very slim. Like I say, even if I thought this was perfect, it'd still be very slim. Creating that spontaneous network effect where all of a sudden your mum is asking you if you're on that platform, and you know, hundreds of millions of people are starting to use it all of a sudden, you don't really know why. That is just incredibly difficult to force and unlikely to happen for any project. So I've kind of touched on the threats just there. The main threat for me, and it's not a threat, it's a likelihood, is that they just will not achieve a network effect with this app, in which case it will die with the countless thousands of other social media apps that have gone before it. It's only a tiny percentage of them that do go on to become popular. So my conclusion is I'm not going to go to an exchange and buy this. I don't like the volume, I don't like the price, I'm not convinced by the team, but I do quite like the app. I like Instagram stories and I've been using it quite a bit anyway, but I use that for like my running stuff. I don't use it, I don't talk about crypto on there or anything. So, you know, I've got this account on there. I might just use it a little bit and see if I get paid any of these tokens and see if the app becomes more popular. And if it does, and there's lots and lots of people, you know, if I can judge the kind of vibe on there and I think it's taking off, then I will kind of reassess my views on this project. So I'll kind of keep in touch with this one and see if it's something I enjoy using, which is how it should be, really, isn't it? I mean, rather than sort of just talking about teams and token metrics, it's nice to be able to go, do I like this project or not, based on the product, based on the output of what they're doing. So I'm just going to continue to use this, and if I really like it, hopefully I'll earn some tokens through social mining, and maybe they'll be worth something one day. So conclusion is maybe one to keep an eye on. For me, not something I'm about to go to an exchange and buy. Okay, so that wasn't financial advice, was it? No, that was a nice chat with a nice guy with a panda on his hat. Not financial advice. You wouldn't take financial advice from a guy with a panda on his hat, would you? Even though it's a Banksy panda, you wouldn't do that. It's not clever. This isn't financial advice. Do all your own research. Look into this yourself. Check the app out yourself. Come to your own conclusions. Okay, so I'm Paul from Crypto Balance. Thanks very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification thingy bell so you get notifications. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye.